Hey there, folks. Hey there, folks. I hope you're doing well and getting some paint on your minis. I went to Adepticon 2024 and it was freaking awesome. I was gonna give you the whole play-by-play on my entire trip, but that would have been boring as shit. And there's other people that are doing that, so you can go watch their videos. Instead, I'm just gonna give you all the highlights of my trip and why I think it was so important for my personal hobby journey and why maybe you should get out to conventions and local events if you're someone that's not doing that just yet. Now, before we get into it, I just want to quickly say that I'm actually running a big painting competition here soon in Canada. It's going to take place in London, Ontario at the Game Chamber. There's not enough painting focused events here in Canada, so I just wanted to try and contribute to our community. I'm going to try to make this a yearly thing. It's an open format competition with a lot of fun side events and stuff like that. There'll be a link down in the description, but if you're interested, please check it out, or, you know, maybe just share it with others that might be interested. It'd be really cool to get some people out and sharing their work. Anyways, let's get to it. So one of the biggest highlights of the event was the people. It was just so awesome to be surrounded by people that were just so full of energy and excitement for the hobby. Everybody was there for the same reason, so it was so easy to just strike up a conversation with pretty much anybody you came across. Anybody I ran into was like just ready to start blabbing about the hobby and what they're into and ask you questions about your interests. It was just very engaging and it really filled me with a lot of excitement for the hobby. I did even meet people like Jeff from the painting phase, such a cool, nice, humble guy. I even met the infamous John, infamous, famous, whatever. John was a cool dude. But I just met all kinds of people. The coolest thing was like everybody likes to paint at Fort Wapol at Adepticon, famous painting area. But it was super busy all weekend, so I set up my own little table in a side hall and just had my light there and everything, and people would just start showing up saying, hey, can I come and paint with you? And I'd be like, yeah, man, come chill, let's do some painting. And I met just so many people that way, just hanging out and painting all weekend. They'd show up and sit down and we'd talk and become friends, and it was just such a nice time to interact with other painters and talk about the hobby with no barriers. In day-to-day life, it can maybe be sometimes hard to talk about the hobby because it's such a niche thing and not everybody's into it. And if you're not into it to some degree, just some of the terminology could even be hard to go over. So just knowing that everybody's kind of informed about the hobby and ready to talk about it and just so engaged, it was awesome. Just a great experience. So I'm a bit of a hermit, so much so that I hadn't even left Canada until this trip. So I figured I had to do it right, and I signed up for 4 different painting classes, and it was definitely the best decision I made because they're probably the highest highlight for me of this whole weekend. I'm just gonna quickly go over those classes right now. So first I had a class with Ben Cantor called Bangin' Reflections. It was just a theory-based class, just talking about light and how it bounces and interacts with different materials, how different sources of light will mix and intermingle. Took a ton of notes. It was cool to find out that he works in the film industry as a colorist, which was kind of interesting. I didn't know that. And he showed off his Space Hulk piece that he submitted to Golden Demon this year, which blew my mind, probably my favorite piece of all. But yeah, it was just a great class and it left me with a lot of things to think about to bring into my future pieces. So yeah, really cool. I also had a class with Marco Frazzoni, which was awesome. Hey guys, such a cool guy. His class was called Speed Painting with Oil Paints, which the topic alone kind of blew my mind a little bit because you don't really think of speed with oil paints. Oil painting is something I've been trying to do a lot more lately, but I've had a lot of barriers that's kind of slowed me down a bit, and some things that just had me stumped. I couldn't figure it out. Taking a class with Marco was just a revelation, really. Guy is a genius and just so nice and funny. He's an amazing teacher. Like anytime somebody had a question, he was like there immediately with an answer. My buddy Adrian showed up to the class. He hadn't even signed up and he was just like trying to sneak in, and Marco just let him in and he sat down and joined the class, but he didn't have a desk. So when we got to the practical part, he realized that Adrian didn't have a desk and he was like, take my desk. So my buddy Adrian's sitting at the front of the class where Marco was sitting, as Marco just runs around and kind of teaches the whole time, but it was pretty funny. But yeah, he's such a nice guy. I learned so much, and I just want to do so much with oils now, and I have been, as I'll talk about after this. But yeah, really cool class, really cool guy. I also took a class with Eric Swinson called OSL, or How to Glow. Such a cool class, such an awesome guy. He's my favorite painter, for sure. And I really thought my OSL was kind of on point. I thought I was getting a lot better with it, but I did learn a few things in this class, that's for sure. And it really set me away with a lot more knowledge about how to improve my technique and effect and just general process when implementing OSL. So yeah, very cool class, very funny guy. Eric's fucking hilarious. At the end of the class, he had like this box of models to hand out to everybody, and he was like, guess a number between 1 and 1,000, and whoever is closest gets it. And immediately I was just like, 737. And he said something like, what the fuck? You're one number off, just take it. I thought that was so funny. But an awesome class with Eric, great painter, looks like a fucking Viking. So yeah. I also had a class with Ben Comets. Now, unfortunately, this class happened post Cornhole, which we will talk about in a moment. But essentially, I was quite hungover for Ben Comets' class. Understanding NMM, I believe was the name of it. It was at 8:30 a.m. I got there, I just dragged my ass there, and I was like falling asleep. But as soon as the class started, Ben he's so full of energy and so into the hobby and ready to just get into the nitty gritty and to have a good time and everything. He really broke down NMM quite a bit for me, non-metallic metals for those that don't know. And yeah, he was a great teacher as well, really nice guy. Once we got down into the practical part of everything, he was just kind of walking around and like pulling up images from his favorite artists and showing it to people, showing how he was inspired by these various pieces that other people have done and how he's translated that into his work. But yeah, it was just a great class. I learned a lot, and I'm really excited to try and dive a little deeper into NMM, something I have struggled with a lot. Another one of the big highlights for me was Trapped Under Plastic Live. TUP Live. If you don't know Trapped Under Plastic, it's an awesome podcast run by Ninjon and Miniac. Really great guys, super funny, always fun topics on that podcast. It was really cool to be part of the audience, just hanging out with all the fans and listening to Scott and John just go on and joke around and answer questions from people. I won't point any fingers, but there was definitely some fireball being passed around the crowd. People are taking little sips here and there. Ninjon loves his fireball, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, it was just a great time overall. So it's just really cool to be a part of that and just to have a good time, kick back and hang out. So yeah, it was awesome. Just a quick side thing here. I was really trying to get to the Gale Force 9 booth while I was at Adepticon. They sent me these really cool Hextech Wave 3 buildings. These buildings all come pre-painted and they're really, really heavy and dense. Like, I'm really surprised. And pre-painted stuff usually doesn't look that great, but these look like super solid. The ones that have like the bridge going across, it can be dry fit or they come with magnets and they come with different size bridges, so you can magnetize those as well. They all have like a template that goes on the bottom to make it work with hex-based games. Just really cool stuff. Check them out if you have any kind of interest. Thanks a lot, Gale Force 9. Really appreciate it. I'm honestly really impressed with the quality of it. So anyways, let's get back to the other stuff. All right, so Cornhole Night. Basically, our buddy Adrian, he ended up going back to the hotel a little early. He was kind of wiped from the weekend. And our buddy Ben, he still had a class till like 11 p.m. with Sergio Calvo, I believe. So once my class was done with Eric Swinson, I decided to go to the bar and just have a drink or two and wait for him to be done. And while I was doing that, I just heard a bunch of yelling outside the bar, and I stepped outside, and there's just a whole bunch of painters hanging out with some of the vendors, and they're just playing cornhole, throwing beanbags into the hole, and they're playing Americans versus non-Americans. And it was just a really cool time just to hang out and watch, honestly. Just having some drinks and seeing people toss it around, just having a good time in a casual environment. Eventually, my buddy Ben finished up his class and he came and joined in, had some drinks. We ended up talking with Impending Duff for a while. We chatted with Sam Lenz, had a drink with him. There was Josh from Mini Wargaming. Eric from Eric's Hobby Workshop showed up. It was just really cool to spend a night hanging out and having drinks with all these awesome painters and just talking about the hobby and sharing our struggles. It was just an awesome, amazing night that went on for probably too long because that morning class with Ben Comets was a little bit rough, but totally worth it. Such an amazing time. Cornhole Night forever. Cornhole. It sounds weird, but it's great. Okay, so obviously a big highlight of this event was the competitions, in particular Golden Demon. Anytime I had a free moment, I would spend it walking by the cabinets and just seeing what there was in the cabinets that wasn't there like earlier in the day or the day before. There was always something new popping up, and there's just so many interesting processes and concepts and just so much cool stuff to be inspired by. Beautiful pieces just all around in all categories. Even like the Worthy and the Resin Beast competitions, like they had some really cool stuff as well, or even just walking around the entire convention and just checking out any of the closed cabinets with painted miniatures in them. There's some unbelievable stuff on display, and whether people won an award or not, everybody was a winner there, just because the more stuff you can see painted and on display, the more interesting ideas and the more inspiration you can gather from it all. Whether something is well painted or not, that's kind of teach their own, but you can still get some really interesting ideas out of something that isn't done to, maybe the highest of levels. But yeah, it was just super awesome just to check out all these really cool pieces submitted by all these different artists from all around the world. And of course, there was the Golden Demon ceremony itself on the Sunday, the last day I was there. And that was just awesome. It was really, really cool. Such an amazing environment. Everybody went into this large hall, and they had a big projected screen, and it was really cool. Just every time somebody got called out, everybody just erupted. Everybody was just so excited for them, especially when Ninjon got up there. He ended up winning a bronze, and everybody just lost it. Everybody was just yelling, "John, John, John," screaming and whistling. His friends, Scott and Vince and Sam Lenz and other people all ran up and hugged him. It was just a really sentimental, nice moment. It felt good to see him get what he deserved, honestly. Such an amazing piece, really cool. And of course, there was Alexander Dos Santos and his amazing ageofsigmar vampire reflection piece. That thing is crazy. It won the category I was in, diorama, and it also won the Slayer sword. And that piece is just so cool, such an amazing concept, and so well executed and beautifully painted. And how the hell did he reflect that vampire? Has it been said yet? I wanna know. I'll forget to look it up again later. So if you know, tell me in the comments, did he scan it and print it? Did he sculpt it? But yeah, just super awesome. After the event, I popped out to pick up my piece and then jump in the car, get home, and found that I got myself a finalist pin and a notable entry card, which blew my mind. I did not expect to get that far. I feel honored to have gotten this. I've been riding this high since I got it the last couple weeks. It's felt just so good. I put a lot of work into it. There are things I would change, but yeah, it felt so good to get this and to have it in my cabinet and just look at it and aspire to do better next time and to know that I'm on the right track. But yeah, at this point, the convention was basically over for us and we had to start driving home. It was a long drive back. I didn't get home until almost 1 a.m. and it was hard to sleep because hot damn, that was a good time. It was just so inspiring, and honestly, that's why it is taking me so long to get this video out, because I've just been so full of inspiration that all I've wanted to do is just paint, and it's been awesome. I painted a Skaven warband and tried to focus on OSL a little bit. I've been working on this Orc warband and doing them completely in oils. I've started on a character piece as well, a big display character piece, just in oils. Well, it's mixed with a little bit of acrylic. But anyways, I've just been wanting to paint, honestly. And that's why you might kind of see a slowdown in some of my video releases here, just because I want to focus on becoming a better painter. Getting out and socializing with other hobbyists and painters, it was such a good thing for my personal hobby. And I think that would be the same for others as well. So if you're somebody who doesn't go out and socialize with other hobbyists that often, like me, maybe just try and do it a little bit more. Just talking to people and being on the same page as others and just enjoying the hobby together can really invigorate you and give you that energy to get back to your table and maybe complete that project that you set aside for a while because you just haven't had it in you to get it done. So yeah, I'm gonna keep having videos come out. Maybe they'll take a while, maybe they'll be quick. Who knows? I'm probably gonna have one soon on the Maple Palette event after I'm done running and judging that and dealing with all the chaos of it. If you're interested in it, go check out the website. Link will be down below. Share it with people, please. That would be awesome. That'd be so cool. I'd love to make this a yearly event. So until next time, paint today for better tomorrow. Bye. Bye.